What's going on, tubes? Fearless here. It's been a while since I made a video. This will be a one-part video. Now, I know I made a brief video on this engine when I first got it back in the summer. I went ahead and cleaned her up real good, adjusted it, tuned it, put fresh gas in it and all that, and now it purrs like a kitten. It's a 1968 Briggs and Stratton 7 horsepower, 17 cubic inch, 275 cc, 11 foot-pounds of torque at 2600 RPM. It runs anywhere from 1600 all the way up to 3600. Smooth. Everything on it is original. It's got that beautiful turquoise blue. This was a really good year for these engines because you had a lot of old style stuff come with the modern technology. Like you still had the good old-fashioned glass sediment bowl fuel shut-off filter. You got the recoil clutch with the ball bearings. The shaft seal has a ball bearing in there. Not just a regular journal. Everything on this sucker is original still. Beautiful turquoise blue, as I said. Let's see, and the cool thing about the modeling system, the size of the engine's built in at a model. So the first two digits is a size, 17 cubic inch. So it's model 170402, type 0195-01, code 6803220. That would be March 22nd, 1968. It's about to turn 51 now. In engine years, that makes it actually an antique. I would just go ahead and call it a classic. It's still in the prime of its life, its engine life. Like I said, it runs smooth as can be, as you'll see. The only thing I don't have for it, which you can get, is the foam oil filter. The foam filter that you put oil in. That's still available. That's part 270093. Interesting thing was I contacted Briggs to get the weight and everything before I had looked this up. They said that filter was no longer available. They don't even know what they're talking about because guess what? The filter is still available. So the filter goes around this plastic piece and under there. And it's a couple bucks on eBay. They still make them. You can get them aftermarket, all that good stuff. It was just weird that they don't even know their own information. Like the customer service representative didn't even know their own information. Like I wanted to know what Briggs called this color specifically. I know it's a turquoise blue. They couldn't even tell me what this color is. Exactly what they called it. They were saying, well, the paint's probably no longer available and we only make red, black, and silver engines now. And it's like I wasn't even worried about that. I was just wanted to know what this color was called. I mean, you could easily, if you had to, get this paint matched up at a hardware store. That's not even a big deal, and the paint's pretty close to immaculate on it. So that was kind of disappointing. They were able to tell me it's about 47 pounds, and I weighed it, and it is just under 47 pounds. But you would think they would have better information. And the other interesting thing is they still build this type of engine in Southeast Asia. But they're cast iron block, and they still use these same type of air filter systems. So I don't know how they could say it's no longer available when Briggs and Stratton themselves is still building and selling this type of engine in Southeast Asia that requires that type of air filter. So that was kind of disappointing that I actually found out before they got back to me, and then I corrected them. You would think they would know, but whatever. Sometimes they know what they're talking about, sometimes they don't. That's just the way it goes. It's hit and miss. The engine is 51 years old, but these engines, if you took care of them, which this one was well cared for, if you change the oil, keep the filters clean, keep fresh gas in them, these were lifetime investments, and in many cases 2 or 3 people's lifetimes. So, they just didn't know. What are you gonna do? What else is there to mention before I go and start this sucker? But like I said, even the decals, the original decals, are in all real nice shape still. Like the 7 horse logo one, the easy spin. This was before magnetron ignition, so it's got points and condensers, and they work great. Always fill your crankcase with oil before starting. The filter sticker's getting a little worn, understandably, but that you can still read. And the model sticker is in the worst shape, but if you get back there behind it, you can still read that too. But other than that, in general, this machine, this engine at 51 years old is immaculate. Now, I'm thinking it was either on a portable air compressor or a water pump. I don't know for sure what it was on. If someone out there who knows these engines, knows this color engine with this size shaft, as I said, it was 1 wide, 3 long, keyway and tapped. If anyone out there has any idea on what this was originally on, what it powered, chime in. I'd like to know. And while we're at it, please comment, subscribe, and like, as I will continue to make great videos. It did have a belt guide that was bolted in here, and it was like this. It was a little bigger than my 2 fingers, so it went out this way. So it obviously had a belt that ran out to the side. So that's what my guess is. It was probably on top of like a unit that powered up like a compressor on top of the tank or something of that nature. But you know, if anyone could tell me, that'd be great. You know, I had the steel fuel line, no rubber. And, you know, don't get me wrong. This engine, this 7 horsepower engine, was built well better than the Tecumsehs at the time. The only problem is the Tecumsehs were better winter engines. They started easier, they primed better, they just ran better in wet, cold, snowy conditions. Briggs built these engines and they called them snow guards, but the problem with them was they didn't start well in the cold. You couldn't really prime them back then, and you know, and that's just what the problem was. So that's why back then, all the way up until about 08, well, definitely up until 2000, 90% of snowblowers used Tecumsehs. Now, if Briggs would have, you know, gotten it to the point where, you know, they had it better, where they ran, it would start up real easy and run perfect in the cold, this would have been by far a better engine in general. No arguments there. But it was just because they were hard to start and they had issues in that regard that they weren't on that many snowblowers. 10% out of the 100. The other 90 at the time was Tecumseh. So, like I said, if they had gotten it good, if they had corrected the small issues, these would have been by far better snow engines. But they didn't, and now we're into the overhead valve age. Tecumseh's gone, and so that's just the way it is. But anyway, enough about that history. Let's go ahead and start this up so you can all hear it. Bear with me a second. Put on 3/4 throttle. Probably won't need choke. I don't know. We'll do it without choke first. And here we go. That's 3/4 throttle. About as slow as it goes. Now she's off. And I wanted to make a video now because I'm about to sell it. I'm going to sell it for $300. I think that's more than fair. If you tried to buy an engine half as good as this, it would be twice as much, and you can't really buy engines like this anymore. So for what it is, I think $300 will be fair. Local pickup or on eBay. I'm not fully set on it. It might be a little bit more, and if anybody out there says, oh, that's too much, it's not. It's not. These are harder to come by now. They're built really well. You can't buy engines like this, and it runs great. It's clean, everything. So I just wanted to share it before I go ahead and sell it. And like I said, if you like this video, give me the thumbs up. Subscribe. Definitely comment, especially to those questions I had as far as what you think this was on. I'm pretty sure portable air compressor is it, or a water pump, one of those two. Can't say for sure. If somebody out there knows for sure, chime in, please. Alright, thanks for watching. Enough of this.